I'm now reading about NBA star James in talks with Beckham on Miami MLS bid. NBA superstar LeBron James confirmed Monday that he is in talks with England football icon David Beckham about investing in a possible Major League Soccer expansion club for Miami. James, who has led the Miami Heat to the past two NBA titles, told the Miami Herald that he has spoken with Beckham about the project. James owns a small share of English Premier League side Liverpool. There is some interest on both sides, James said. David has become a good friend of mine over the last few years, and I think it would be great for this city to have a football club. There is interest on both sides, but it's preliminary talks, but there is some open dialogue. Beckham, who recently retired as a player, has been exploring the possibility of owning a MLS club, the chance to grab a team for a discounted rate was reportedly part of the contract that lured the former Manchester United star midfielder to the MLS Los Angeles Galaxy in 2007 from Real Madrid. A time to make a deal for a team is said to be running out, possibly by the end of the year. The MLS had a Miami team, the Fusion, from 1998 through 2001 before it folded, and James said the level of support from the Miami market is still being explored. We don't know the potential, James said. The research is still being made out, but I think it could be huge. You never know. I think this is a great town for soccer. There are a lot of soccer players here. There's a great youth organization of soccer here, and people love the city as well. So that definitely will help. So that definitely will help. Beckham has become a familiar face that Heat games, and James has enjoyed a growing interest in football, even hyping his connections to the sport via video games in an advertisement, since his role in Fenway Sports Group gave him a piece of Liverpool. I have grown a great interest in watching the game and learning it, and it is a pretty intense sport, James said, and my kids love it as well, but I have grown to a point where I know exactly what's going on when I'm watching the game. James has spent time touring Liverpool facilities and meeting players. Stephen Rose, owner of the NFL Miami Dolphins, has reportedly shown interest in partnering with Beckham as well. A crowd of 71,124, the largest ever for a football match in Florida, attended a Brazil 5-0 friendly win over Honduras last Saturday. But James says Miami actually obtaining an MLS club is far from a done deal despite the superstar leverage behind the project. We don't know, James said. It's like buying a house. You don't know until you sign the papers. I'm now reading about Afghan elders to discuss key security deal with the U.S. Thousands of tribal chieftains and politicians will gather this week in the Afghan capital to discuss a security pact with the United States, which will shape Washington's future military presence in the war-scarred nation. The Bilateral Security Agreement (BSA) will determine how many U.S. soldiers stay in Afghanistan when most of NATO's troops deployed in the country since 2001. Currently numbering 75,000 live at the end of 2014. Key obstacles include the question of legal immunity for those U.S. troops who remain, an issue that scuppered a similar pact in Iraq, and the Taliban have branded the meeting a U.S.-designed plot, vowing to pursue and punish its delegates as traitors if they approve the BSA, highlighting the security challenges facing Afghanistan. A Taliban suicide bombing near the venue on Saturday killed a dozen people, most of them civilians. Providing details for the first time since tough year-long negotiations between U.S. and Afghan officials. Kabul says up to 16,000 American troops could stay beyond 2014. If signed, Bagram Air Base, the largest military base in the country, will remain under U.S. control, according to President Hamid Karzai's National Security Advisor, ranking that for Spanta. Bagram, located about 50 kilometers north of Kabul, is the main airbase for the U.S.-led NATO force, housing about 40,000 troops. American forces will also be allowed to share other locations, mostly military airfields, with local security forces across the country, including Shindan in Herat province on the Iranian border, according to Spanta. We believe that concluding the BSA will send an important signal of clarity about the future of our relationship with Afghanistan and what the future of Afghanistan can look like. U.S. Ambassador to Kabul James Cunningham said recently. Loya Jirga, Pashto for Grand Assembly, will also decide whether U.S. soldiers should be given immunity against Afghan laws for crimes they commit while deployed in Afghanistan. The subject has been a serious sticking point. Karzai has said the Loya Jirga is the only Afghan institution with the authority to decide whether or not to grant immunity to the U.S. soldiers. The issue of U.S. troop immunity sank a similar deal in Iraq in 2011, leading Americans to pull out completely. The country is now in the grip of some of its worst sectarian violence since 2008. A similar so-called zero option has been touted as a possibility in Afghanistan, leading to fears of a return to the chaotic violence of the 1990s, when rival warlords laid waste to Kabul. But President Barack Obama's special envoy for Afghanistan and Pakistan, James Dobbins, rejected the Iraq comparison, saying the BSA would be supported by Afghans. They want us, they need us, and we promise to stay, he said. So in the case of Afghanistan, across the political spectrum, and in polling and any other source of information on Afghan attitudes, there is strong support for continued international military and civilian presence. Afghan Finance Minister Omar Zakhiwal, speaking in New Delhi on Monday, gave a similarly bullish assessment of his country's security forces, saying doomsday predictions of a repeat of the 1990s were unfounded. The 4-day Loya Jirga will start on Thursday at the campus of Polytechnic University in West Kabul. Thousands of security forces and intelligence agents have been deployed in and around the capital to protect the gathering against the Taliban threats. Taliban threat. Kate Clark, a senior analyst with the Kabul-based Afghanistan Analyst Network, said too much was at stake for Jirga to reject the BSA. On the BSA depends not just U.S. bases and a possible counter-terrorism force, but also the continuing NATO training mission and money for the Afghan security forces, she said, adding that such gatherings give respectability to sensitive decisions taken by the government. If endorsed by the Loya Jirga, the deal will be put before the Afghan parliament for final approval before Karzai signs it. Afghans go to the polls next April to elect the successor to Karzai, and a credible election is seen as vital for stability in Afghanistan's first ever democratic transfer of power. I'm now reading about AP photos. Prospectors seek fortune in legal plots. Dot bond. Marijuana Incorporation. The Green Rush. Call it what you will. The burgeoning legal marijuana industry in Washington state is drawing pot prospectors of all stripes. Microsoft veterans and farmers, real estate agents, and pastry chefs. Former journalists and longtime pot growers alike are seeking new challenges and fortunes. In the production, processing, and sale of a drug that's been illegal for generations. In Colorado, the only other state to legalize marijuana, existing medical marijuana dispensaries can be selling for recreational use in January. But in Washington, where sales are expected to begin in late spring, the industry is open to nearly anyone, provided they have lived in the state for 3 months, pass a background check, and raise any money from within the state. Washington on Monday began accepting license applications from those eager to jump in. By mid-afternoon, hundreds had applied. Click through the portraits or read through the profiles of those hoping to make their mark in the new world of legal weed. The big farmer, Bruce King, says he was a 22-year-old high school dropout when Microsoft hired him as its 80th employee in 1986. A software engineer, he eventually left and started or acquired 2 other companies, Telephone Adult Chat and Psychic Hotlines, but he really wanted to farm. He found a management team to handle his business and started breeding pigs north of Seattle. After Washington legalized marijuana last fall, he looked at pot as any other crop. The potential margins were fabulously attractive, he says. He found a farm with a 25,000 square foot barn for a marijuana operation. King, 50, doesn't like pot himself, but says, if people are going to eat a stupid drug, they should eat my stupid drug. He likens it to running a psychic hotline when he's never had a reading. You don't have to like Brussels sprouts to grow them. Pot and patisseries. Molly Poisette had swapped her 3-decade-old home furnishing store and interior design business in Colorado for a life of world travel when she learned some devastating news. Her eldest daughter had leukemia. Colorado. She suspended her travels to help her daughter, her daughter, and her family through the ordeal. She then continued her tour, attending cooking school in Paris, poised at 59, graduated last spring, and had an idea, blending my newfound patisserie skill with medical cannabis, she says. So she abandoned Paris for Seattle, where she is developing recipes for marijuana-infused chocolate truffles for recreational and medical use. Her aim is to create a beautiful package, like French chocolate or pastries for people like her daughter. They could ingest discreetly and enjoy life rather than everything being in a pill. She says 420 minor. If legal post is the green rush, Daniel Curiolo has some unique credentials. He's been an actual prospector. He helped put himself through college working for a company that flew him into northern British Columbia and the Yukon with a map, a compass, and a heavy backpack. He'd pan for gold and take soil samples. Another source of income in those days, growing and selling marijuana with a few other political science majors. Growing and selling marijuana with a few other political science majors. A former techie and EX house flipper, Curiolo, 41, says his background in business development and taking risks is perfect for the legal pot world. He has invested $400,000 so far. His goal, cannabis business park northwest of Olympia that would feature his growing operation, cassid crops, as well as retail stores run by his mother, father, and aunt. Her father and aunt. Father and aunt. Her father and aunt. Her father and aunt. The poster child for anti-cannabis
Angel Swanson was raised on the south side of Chicago by a mother who warned, "If you see drugs, run." Decades later, the businesswoman and real estate agent real real estate agent found herself in Washington State with a husband, seven children, and a strong bias against illegal drugs. The poster child for anti-cannabis, she says. That is, until one of her daughters, who had serious digestive issues and had never weighed more than 100 pounds, came home from college one day and ate a full plate of food. The girl had tried pot-laced cookies, which stimulated her appetite. Swanson lost it. Do you have any idea the sacrifices that have been made for you to go to college? She remembers saying. Swanson, 52, did some research and couldn't find a reason for her daughter not to use weed. She and her husband opened a medical marijuana dispensary, the Cannabis Emporium, near Tacoma. They now want to sell recreational pot but hope to continue to serve patients, a challenge since stores will be banned from trumpeting pots. The therapeutic benefits from MBA to THC. Todd Spates and Billy sounds like Billy Miller are more gym and yoga than smoke and coal. The couple doesn't use pot. I much prefer a glass of scotch, Spates says, but they say they know a good business opportunity when they see one. The pair previously worked in online marketing in San Diego, and Spates has a master's in business administration. Their most recent startup is Skyview.com, which helps restaurants monitor what people are saying about them on social media. Spates, 39, also helps judge business plan competitions and believes his skills are perfectly honed to run a successful pot store. He and Miller, 38, who has also worked as a bartender, are excited about Washington's grand experiment. They sought advice from friends who operate medical dispensaries in California to help draw up a revenue model. They are seeking a retail license in Kirtland, east of Seattle, the path from addiction.